All right, back to another edition of Behind the Blind, brought to you by Tetra Hearing. Check them out online at tetrahearing.com. We are in North Dakota, and it's funny that we're here, isn't it? It's so hilarious.
Oh, man, what a day, boys. What a day.
What a day.
We definitely won the day.
We won the damn day. Thanks again to Tetra Hearing for being a proud sponsor of the Behind the Blind podcast. We're going to be up here for, so we hunted this morning. We got 3 more hunts after that. Make sure that you are subscribed to the Heartland Waterfowl YouTube channel. Comment on all the videos. Do all the things. What is it you say, Everett? Like it, swipe it, and all that good stuff.
All that good stuff.
That's the one.
Why is that not a T-shirt yet?
I was gonna say we could trademark that for like our.
Joe's
YouTube
got his own.
Like it, swipe it, and all that good stuff. Instead of like subscribe, all that like it.
You got your own shirt now. We need Everett a shirt.
Yeah, Joe's got his own shirt with his own personalized photo. Why can I get?
I looked at the numbers. It's the #1 selling shirt on the HW website.
Is it?
Yeah.
Funny you should.
Did you create the spreadsheet of the numbers?
Well, I just bought like 500 of them, and I keep them in my closet.
Handing them out to all your clients.
That's their parting gift.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Heartland Waterfowl store at heartlandwaterfowl.com, what we are actually giving away here on this trip is a Heartland Waterfowl swag pack. So I don't know exactly what that's all going to entail, but I'm sure it's going to involve a T-shirt and a hoodie and a hat and a long sleeve T-shirt. And I've actually put in a message with one of our sponsors that makes a product that has a signature. That's a signature Heartland Waterfowl product. Any guesses?
Choke tube.
Yes. I have not heard back yet, but I'm hoping that by the next time that we do this podcast tomorrow, that we'll be able to include that, but no promises.
Hey, can I get in on that?
No, and
Choke tubes and
a T-shirt of Joe.
Oh.
Can I get in on that drawing? What do I got to do? Like it, swipe it, all that good stuff?
That's it. And if anybody would like to make a T-shirt for Everett, we are looking for investors to help us with all of our Heartland Waterfowl merchandise.
Good luck.
Investors? Possibly you.
That's funny.
So really cool to be up here in North Dakota again. We look forward to this trip every year. And although I don't know that we've ever looked forward to playing in the mud, and that's one thing that we are doing this week while we're here.
Muddy mess. Yep, muddy mess. It snowed, about 12 inches, 14 inches?
We got like 12 to 14 inches last week. And now, of course, it's warming up, and we had some rain before we had snow. So, yeah, it's just a muddy mess. All the snow is thawing. Temperatures are like right at 33 every night. It's like staying above freezing at night. So everything's thawing at a rapid pace, and it's just it's a muddy mess.
On top of the rain that we got yesterday too.
Right.
Honda's got us in good today, though. We had some nice cover over top the beans this morning.
Yeah, it's funny, like, when that wind starts to blow, the high spots in the fields really drought really quick.
Yeah, you can stay on the crowns of the field, and you should be pretty good.
Yeah. But there's the low spots, and there's still a lot of drifts, too. Like, the wind blew 100 miles an hour the other day, and it blew all the snow off of the tops of the hills, and it created real big drifts in a lot of the low spots. So one thing we're battling right now, too, not only is the mud, but you still got to dodge the drifts because you can get in a real pickle.
So that one drift had a river running out of it.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, there was.
You can't get into some of the fields because of the drifts, too.
Yeah, you got to really be careful, especially how you're approaching getting into the field and getting out of the field. Like tomorrow, for instance, there's an approach on the south side of the field that would be the quickest way to where we're going to try to get, but it's drifted over. It's muddy getting up to the drift. It's just a bad scenario. So we got to come in kind of from the far east side and wind our way through. But with the buggy and the trailer, we shouldn't, tear anything up or anything like that. But it's just one more thing that we got to be aware of whenever we're scouting fields is like, dang, can we even get into them?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, there's 4,000 or 5,000 ducks out there, but we ain't getting to them. And maybe that's why they're out there is because nobody's getting to them right now. So
how many times have you been out scouting with your buddy and you're like, hey, how are we getting in this field tomorrow? This is the one you want to hunt, this, that, and another. And like, I have no idea.
And then you show up in the morning and it's like, oh, wait, well, how are we even going to get in here?
Yeah.
It's just one thing that goes to scouting in general is like, one thing always like, yeah, you found the birds, but you need to know how to get into the field or your route into the field.
Yep.
You don't want to just go blind. It's like, oh, well, where was the approach? Well, shit, I don't know. Was it back there? Is it up there half a mile? Like you got to,
We'll get out the blue reflector tape.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like the old days.
Before all the smartphones and Onyx and follow the blue dot, it was a lot harder. It was a lot harder.
Blue reflector tape.
Yeah, blue reflectors scattered all across the prairie.
One of the things that I experienced tonight with our evening scout was how difficult it is. Because, if like you've got this big body of water that where all these birds are roosting and you can go travel around the mile section or whatever, you take that for granted because the roads are so sloppy. Yeah. There's some roads that you're not going to be able to go down. In all of your years up here and hunting in North Dakota, this isn't the first time you've come across really wet conditions.
No, not at all.
So, and knowing the lay of the land, I guess, will help over the years that you've been here. But like, what advice would you give as far as? I mean, it's a tough question to answer, I know, but like, that's a struggle when you can't get down a certain road to get good eyes on what these birds are doing.
100%. You have to do the best you can to try to get eyes on them, but you don't. Where you can get caught up is on like the section lines. The gravel roads dry out pretty quick, but whenever you start getting off of the gravel and the main roads and you start getting on section lines, that's when you really got to be careful because they don't maintain those roads at all. Typically, some of them are farmed over, so there's like fresh, loose topsoil, and you just got to be cautious of it because out here you can definitely get in a bind really quick because it's thick mud. It really is.
Like the truck last year that was in the middle of the pothole where you guys were out scouting.
Right, yeah. Dude slid off, put his truck in park or something and just slid down the hill into the pothole.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was bad, real bad. But yeah, the section lines, you just got to be careful. When in doubt, pull out. No matter what. It's not worth risking getting stuck, tearing stuff up. Just back out, dude. Just literally just back out, try to find another way around, look at it from a different angle. But you can really get yourself in a bind quick out here whenever it's wet like this. You really can.
I was thinking about this earlier. I think sometimes we take for granted the fact that we had a partnership for so long with Honda and that we have access to a utility vehicle that will allow us to do this because not everybody has that luxury. But man, oh man, it just changes. It's a game changer because we would not have been able to get on the X that we were on this morning, which we're going to get into that hunt here in a second. But we wouldn't have, there's no way we would have been able to set up in that spot if we wouldn't have had that.
You wouldn't be able to hunt it all this week.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Unless you wanted to walk in, right?
Right.
Yeah. Anybody that comes out, like any freelancer or anything like that, like if you're coming out, dude, have somebody hauling a buggy too. Like you never know. You never know because
you're not hunting it all this week without it.
Right. You're not.
You're not getting in a field. If you are going into a field, you're getting stuck with the truck for sure.
Yeah.
Like
1000%.
everything froze so quick, and then now it's thawing out just as quick as it froze, and it's just a recipe for disaster if you don't have a buggy or you're just trying to drive out, especially in bean fields. Right now, like bean fields there's nothing out there for traction. If you're driving in a wheat field or something, you're way better off. But a bean field, dude, there ain't nothing out there. It's just mud for the most part. So
while we're on the topic of UTVs, I would like to make an announcement that since we've been on our last hunt, it's been now official that we are partnered with Muse Utilities, which is a really cool UTV accessories company. They're real excited to be in the waterfowl space. They're excited to be partnered with us. And so products should have arrived back home today that we're going to be able to deck out on our Honda Pioneer 1005.
Shout out Muse.
Thank you, Moose Utility, for taking Moose Utility Division.
Moose.
So so we got new tires and wheels and a lift kit and new LEDs and hopefully by the next trip, which I guess would be over Thanksgiving in Kansas, we'll have that all decked out and on there. So be looking for that, and be sure to check out our website to get a link to their website. But we're very grateful for that. One of the other things that I noticed about up here this year, as opposed to prior years, is the amount of standing corn.
Bunch.
Holy moly. What's the deal with that?
Got too cold, all the snow. I mean, guys just got beans off 2 weeks ago up here for the most part. I mean, beans were finished. Sunflowers and corn usually start coming off at the same time, but I mean, all the snow. I mean, we have 15 inches of snow in a day. I mean,
when are they typically cutting out here?
A week ago, corn anyway.
Yeah.
Right about now.
Yeah. But that storm last week and the cold front, and like I said, the rain. We had a day and a half of rain before the snow even hit.
Yeah.
So it just farmers couldn't get it out in time.
It's going to be a while before they get that corn out, too.
Before they get it out.
Yeah.
We saw combines sitting in the field the other night. They're just sitting there waiting, and it's just a swamp around them, right now. So it'll be a while. One of our farmers here tonight, and he said that they're just now being able to get right back onto sunflowers. So it's just going to take a minute for things to dry out. But even though the corn's not off, I mean, the ducks are just feeding heavy in beans right now. They really are. Yeah. And a lot of times on these cold snaps, they hit them beans hard, man. They really do. Don't get me wrong, everybody loves mallards and corn. It's like peanut butter and jelly. It really is. I mean, green heads in a cornfield, it doesn't get any better. It's like you can always find a cornfield when it gets cold, right? But beans too. I mean, they're really trying to fatten up, get as much protein as they can.
Yeah.
So the beans are a really good option for them right now, and there's way more beans cut than there is corn right now. Yeah. So that's why they're hitting the beans so hard.
Fortunately, we were able to get up here anyway. I mean, that cold front was so strong, and it locked up and so frigid. It locked up a lot of the water. There was so much snow that we were concerned that all the birds were going to be out and that we wouldn't even be able to come up here at all. I know that was a concern that you had shared with us as you were up here.
Yeah, we were worried about it.
Fortunately, that cold snap didn't last too long to where, the birds hung around. They were able to keep some water open. Obviously, some birds did move out.
For sure. All the snow's moved out. I mean, there's hardly any snow geese around here anymore. They're all, South Dakota border somewhere probably. I don't know. I mean, I've heard some reports of guys shooting some still, but not in this area. They were here for 4 or 5 days thick, real thick, but then they just pushed out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there's even parts of Missouri that are having their best opening weekend ever.
Yeah, I mean, people are shooting geese down in Texas right now.
It's just insane.
I mean,
no doubt. No doubt. It was a huge, huge front. I mean, it got super cold, super fast, locked up.
That's all it takes.
So much
That's all it takes.
Water up here super fast, and they just high-eyed.
And you have the ones that want to hold on as long as they can. You have the ones that want to get out of town as fast as they can.
That's the ones we're shooting right now are the ones that are trying to hold on. And now with the weather, they don't have a reason to leave anytime soon.
It's not supposed to be cold for another 10 days.
It's highs in the 40s. Everything's thawing back out right now. So the birds that are here will probably hang for a while. But that first major snap, I mean, it pushed a bunch of birds south fast. So
speaking of hunting beans, that's what we did this morning. We had a great first day. Some of the birds were acting a little bit finicky, so we'll talk about that. But we talk about a buggy ride. We literally had a mile drive buggy ride into our spot. We were backed up against some standing corn, but we had a morning of 34, 33 birds, 33 ducks, 1 snow goose, I think it was. So what was your guys' takeaway? Everett, I'll start with you. What was your takeaway from this morning's hunt?
Great little hunt. Nothing to be mad about. The birds were kind of stale up front, but morning got longer. They got a little bit hungrier, started finishing a little bit better, got out of there.
Joe?
In my opinion, if we would have stayed a little longer, I feel like we would have got better as the morning progressed.
This is coming from the guy who couldn't stop saying, "Are we done here? Are we done here?"
That was me too. I'm the impatient.
Yeah, but you didn't. I don't remember you saying that at all this morning. I heard Joe say it at least 3 times.
Once the fog hit this morning, it changed things.
But that's how it's been for the last 3 or 4 days. It's clear in the morning, and then all of a sudden time change, but 2 hours into your hunt, it starts to get foggy. Maybe 3 hours into the hunt, it starts to get foggy. But
I think it helped us this morning. Even while we were picking up, I mean, we still had birds trying to get into where we were, and but as the morning progressed and that fog kind of settled in, I felt like our ducks started to decoy and finish a little bit better. Fortunately, we had a good hide this morning. Fence line against standing corn. We were in beans. We literally couldn't ask for anything better, but we had to go a mile to the far west end of the field to get that. But once the fog set in, like I said, I think it really helped us. The ducks were finicky at first this morning. They didn't quite know what they really wanted to do, I don't think, but
the widgeons did.
Yeah, the widgeons,
the way they always do.
The widgeons played. But once the morning progressed and the fog started settling in, we started finishing some of the mallards a little bit better. And I feel like tomorrow will probably be a little bit of the same. I mean, I think we're supposed to have a different wind tomorrow. It was northwest today, southeast tomorrow, but there's so much moisture around here right now. I think we're going to have some fog again tomorrow possibly. So hopefully the ducks come out and act kind of the same way they did this morning. So.
The fog can really either hurt you
make or break,
or help you.
It's make or break. Yeah.
I feel like
make or break.
It has definitely helped us when it has rolled in later like that, but we've also been right in the general vicinity of where the ducks want to be.
That's one thing about
the
fog.
And if you just barely miss it with the fog,
you miss it by
done.
a mile.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I think that first morning I hunted with you, I think we were doing that with the ducks. We were on the X, but we were off on the geese, and that's why we weren't finishing the geese. You know,
right.
And you really couldn't see them until they were
right
100 yards in front of you.
Yeah,
you know. So, but yeah, that fog can make or break you, and if you're in the right spot, it usually helps, right?
Yeah. Like you said, if you miss it by 100 yards, you might as well miss it by a mile.
Yep.
On a foggy day.
And the really foggy days, you don't even know they're there.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But yeah, I think tomorrow will be good. I think there's the birds that are around are still grouped up pretty good. They're acting a little more finicky with the warmer weather. The beauty is we have wind in the morning,
right?
And that's what helped us this morning. That's what's going to help us tomorrow morning. And the hide, right? We had a good hide. We're going to have a good hide tomorrow.
Should have a good hide tomorrow.
We're not sitting out in the middle of the field. We're not out in the wide open.
Right.
We've been fortunate with both wind and a good hide. So as much as we complain all the damn time about the wind and the hide, we have nothing to complain about tomorrow.
No, we shouldn't. I think tomorrow we should have a slew to back up against or something.
Stale birds. It's going to be stale birds.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I mean,
I've seen worse though. I mean, there were a few volleys that came through that obviously that, they get out there 70, 60 yards and then they start to lift a little bit because they think it looks a little sketch or whatever. And so those were obviously stale, but we've all been in situations where just every bird that is in the county is stale and they're all going to act the same regardless of what your setup, how good your height is. They're just completely stale. We were able to pick on the ones. There were a few that weren't.
And I wouldn't say that they're stale, but like you're coming off of a big cold front where there's a lot of hunters around, snow on the ground. They're getting pounded on pretty good.
Dude, there were so many people here last week.
And
it was unbelievable.
Really.
It was like everybody saw this front coming. And they're like, we need to be somewhere in North Dakota right now. And there were trucks everywhere. I'm not lying. It didn't matter. And not just around here or where we're at, but I mean everywhere. Everybody that we talked to scouting anywhere said the same thing. Like one of Cole's buddies was sitting on a snow goose feed and he was like, we had it locked up dead to rights, and there was 19 trucks that stopped and talked to them while they were sitting there that night.
Oh my gosh.
Like unbelievable. But it's like everybody saw that front coming and they knew the potential.
Sure.
So they all hopped in their trucks and headed here. It was wild. And now it's warming up. A lot of the birds have pushed through this area and are a little bit farther south. And, this week, I think a lot of people have started seeing the weather pattern and are thinking that, hey, man, these birds are they're not going to act right. They're not going to do this. They're not going to do that because the weather's fluctuating so much. and a lot of people have maybe either moved on or whatever. But
well, all I was saying with that too is, the warm up is, it makes you feel like those birds are going to be a little more stale, right? Mm-hmm. They did today. The majority of them did something today that they hadn't done for the last 2 days.
Right. Right.
And why was that? Who knows?
Right.
We were still able to pick on them. Still had a pretty good day. Mm-hmm. So like, yeah, they've been pounded on the week before with all those people. But
just the other day, even after this cold snap, one of my buddies killed a banded mallard that was banded like 20 miles from here. Like, there's still ducks, and it was banded this year. Like, there's still ducks here that have been here all summer. Like, just because that cold front comes through, you think, oh, it pushed all the ducks out, and we're just getting all fresh birds. That's not the case.
Yeah.
It's clearly not. I mean, that bird was banded in August 20 miles from here, and it's still here now. Think of how many spreads that duck has probably seen since
for sure
September 23rd, or even going back to early goose and getting run over, seeing spreads and getting used to that. Like, the birds, some of the birds that were here all summer are still here. Now, granted, we've had some birds move in, and we've probably had some birds move out, but it's not like, okay, the wave that was here all summer, they're gone now. It's not that. Like, some of those birds are very much still here. So it just comes with the territory. Even on a cold front, when you think, oh, it's pushed everything out, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. Some of these birds just stick around. They don't want to leave because it's the only place they know. It's like, oh, we don't want to leave until we absolutely have to.
Right.
So it's just right now. I mean, you're going to have that. You're going to have some birds that are stale, that don't want to decoy, that are call shy.
Somebody got dice.
Yeah.
Hey, good job.
No, we're gonna make y'all famous. But yeah, I mean, but granted, there's still plenty of birds around, and I think we're in for a good couple days while we're still here. So.
Right on. Well, we'll wrap this up then. We got a great hunt lined up for tomorrow, or so it looks on paper. Don't forget to subscribe, comment on these videos, hit like, and then make sure by doing that you check back every night, because not only we'll have the podcast, but we'll have the recap from the hunt, and that will get you entered to win the swag pack from us, and maybe a little extra from one of our sponsors. So for Everett Adkins, Joe Palumbo, Logan Burditt, I'm Ronnie Philips. Thanks for checking out another
edition. Check out
edition.
the YouTube, boys.
Like it, swipe it, and all that good stuff.
All that good stuff, right?
Thank you, Tetra Hearing, for being a proud partner of
that's getting
Behind the Blind podcast.
I think it's trademarked.
Trademarked, whatever. It's all mine.
We're going to smash tomorrow.
Smash.